Going to be a great card. Looking forward to the main event. So, going to run through my picks for this card and also my early bets. So quick recap of last week. Crushed it on the London card. We hit the underdog of the week, Nathaniel Wood. Hit my main bet, which was Riley, Pinto, and Mantis. Also hit the significant strike bet, CLD, more significant strikes, and MVP, more significant strikes. And they were the three main bets, really. Cashed them all. What we lost on was chasing these method of victory bets. Moving forward, I'm going to not put so much on method of victory. I can't believe Pinto and Mantis didn't get a finish. Um, Easy matchups, but yeah, that's pretty frustrating. But anyway, moving on to this week. So first up, Tainara versus Brazil. So I think Tainara will use her physicality in this matchup. Probably take Bruna Brazil down, beat her up on the ground, look for a submission. Brazil, she's weak, man. She gets pushed up against the cage. This Brazilian tough lesbian chick did that in her last fight, pushed her up against the cage and just bullied her. Tainara should be able to do the same. But the odds are terrible. She's $1.20, which is pretty trash. Um, Brazil actually has a win over Tainara, but it was 5 years ago. So I think Tainara's gotten a lot better since then. So yeah, as a pick, Tainara, am I going to bet her? Not much at that price. I'm just going to add her to the long shot multi, which I'll give you at the end. Ricky Simon versus Yanez. So I think Yanez is the better striker. He's got very good boxing. He's got good power. Simone, his boxing's okay, but he got outstriked by Barcelos in his last fight. Barcelos was lighting him up in the striking, which is pretty disappointing. And Simone, he does have good wrestling though, and that's the thing in this matchup that's going to even it out. Yanez, he hasn't fought many wrestlers, but he fought Daniel Marcos, who's a kickboxer, and Marcos got him down in the third round twice and was able to control him for a bit. So that's not a good look. It was back in 2024. Maybe he's improved his takedown defense, but gonna have to go with Ricky in this one. I think Ricky can get, if he can get takedowns, he is strong. He's got pretty good top pressure. I could even see him maybe getting a sub, like an arm triangle or something. But yeah, as a pick, I'm going Ricky. Am I going to bet him? Probably not. He's $1.66. I'm not that confident on him. I think Yanez, if he has improved his takedown defense, he's definitely the better striker in my opinion. So I think he's live for the win. But the odds aren't wide enough for me to want to have a bet on him. So yeah, Ricky's the pick, but no bet so far. Sterling versus Lopez. Not a big fan of Sterling so far. He's good. He's very big, athletic, fast, strong. He's got good technique. I think I'm disappointed because, like he's a hype prospect and you should be finishing these dudes. Like they've been giving him pretty easy matchups, and he couldn't even finish Tuko Tokos, who's one of the worst in the division. So I think that's why everyone's a bit disappointed with Sterling. But he's a good fighter, and I think he's going to win this fight. Lopez, from what I've seen, he's very slow in the striking. He got knocked out by Jacoby, but Jacoby's good. I watched this Magomed fight. I couldn't even watch the whole thing. It was the worst fight I've ever seen. Um, so boring, no action. Lopez was just holding on to him, clinching, doing nothing. It was terrible. And I don't think Magomed is good at all. I think he's been cut. I haven't seen him fight for a long time. So yeah, Sterling, he's a good minute winner. He's well rounded. He's got good striking. His takedown defense is good. He's even showed some wrestling. So I'm very confident on Sterling. He's my most confident on the whole card, and I will be betting him. Next up, Casey O'Neill versus Fernandez. Uh, Casey O'Neill, she's got good pressure. She's got good volume. She's got good cardio. If she gets you to the mat, she's good down on the mat, but I don't think her wrestling is the best. And I also think her striking is pretty slow. I also think she's quite hittable. So I watched this Lipsky fight. Lipsky was getting the better of her on the feet, and she cracked her, hurt her. Then Casey went for a takedown. She ended up getting caught in this armbar. And yeah, I like Fernandez in this matchup. She's Fernandez's weakness is good wrestlers, and I just haven't seen Casey O'Neill's wrestling to be that good in my opinion so far. Maybe O'Neill has been working on her wrestling, and if she's got good wrestling, she could win this fight. It's definitely a close fight, but I like the striking of Gabriella. She's more explosive. She's got more power. And I think she's going to be able to land on Casey because I don't think Casey's defense is very good. And she's always pressing forward. So yeah, I think Casey's going to be throwing more volume, but Gabriella will land the bigger shots and should be able to do enough in the first two rounds. I do think Gabriella does slow down, so if it gets to the third, it could be a bit sweaty. I think Casey could have a good third round, but I'm taking Gabriella on the money line as an underdog. She's 2.1 odds on Ladbrokes. So yeah, I'll give all the bets at the end. Um, Tybura versus Fortune. This is a sketchy fight. Fortune, he's pretty explosive in the striking. He's got good speed, good power. The problem is he's also got pretty good wrestling, like takedowns, but his takedown defense is not great. And on the ground, he's not good. So that's the issue. I think if Tybura does get the fight to the ground, he's got a big advantage on the ground. But Tybura's 40 and he looks very slow in the striking, and he just got KO'd by Deleja. So as a pick, I'll go with the newcomer Fortune. I just think Tybura at 40 years old, he's kind of not looking as good as he was, and he's very slow, and I could see him getting caught on the feet, but not going to bet either guy. Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson. So as a pick, I'll go with Chase Hooper just because he's got the UFC experience and he's got very good jiu-jitsu. But as a bet, probably not going to bet Hooper. Lance Gibson doesn't look very good, but he is very athletic, as you can see. Um, I think his takedown defense will be pretty solid. Like he's never been subbed. So is Hooper going to be able to get the fight to the ground? I'm not that confident that he's going to be able to, so that's why I'm not going to bet him. But I do think he most likely gets a win somehow, even if he can like jump on his back. I don't think Gibson is very good, but I wouldn't be like parlaying Hooper. Um, yeah. Bahamondes versus Tafik. So Tafik, he got beat by Oralby. Showed some weakness on the ground, but Oralby is very good. And I was watching some of these other fights. He's very powerful, but I don't like how he's very low volume. He moves around the cage a lot, doesn't throw, and then just looks for the big shot. His best win, I would say, is over Patrici Pitbull. I did watch that fight, which is a good win. He actually used his wrestling in that fight to get the win. So yeah, he's 36, so he's a bit older, and Baja Mendes is more in his prime at 28. Baja Mendes, he's a good striker. He's going to have a height and reach advantage. His best win, Jalen Turner's a good win. He beat Torres. That's a nice win. He did lost to Fiziev, but Fiziev's very good. So yeah, I like Bahamondes in this matchup as a pick. Am I that confident to lay a lot of money on him? No, because I think the odds are too wide. Mis Defeek, he does have a win over Pitbull. I don't think he's that bad, so it could be a close fight. So Bahamondes is the pick. I'll add him to my long shot multi, but I'm not going to have too much on him. McKinney versus Nelson. McKinney round one. You know, just keep betting McKinney round one, and it keeps cashing. Either he gets a finish in round one, or he gets finished in round one. And I think more likely he's going to get a finish in round one in this one. Nelson, he's all right. He got finished by Steve Garcia in round one, but Steve Garcia is a beast. And yeah, not much to say about that one. It's a McKinney fight. Mansur versus Belgori. I'm going Belgori. I've been betting Mansur so far in his career. He's an absolute specimen. Jacked, athletic, huge. He's got good wrestling. So he's a beast. But I think he just hasn't been looking that good recently. They've been giving him the easiest matchups. Dusko, Klein, Brundage, Tricoli. They're like the easiest matchups you could get. And the Brundage fight was really shit. He did nothing in the first two rounds. And so yeah, I just think it's a big step up for him. And he's too low volume at times. If he gets his wrestling going, definitely he could win. That's why he's the favorite. Um, but Belguri, his takedown defense has improved. He's also massive. He's 6'6", 70, 9-inch reach. And I think he's the better striker. He's training with Alex Pereira. So I think if he can defend the takedowns, he can definitely win this fight by outlanding him on the feet. So I'm going to take a shot on Belguri as an underdog. He's 220. And yeah, I reckon if he can outstrike Mansour Abdul Malik. Douglas versus Rosa. Douglas, newcomer. He's got good Muay Thai. He's got big power in the hands. He's a good fighter. But it's his debut. So if you look at the guys he's been fighting, they're not very high level. So it's hard to get a gauge on these sort of guys. They often fail on their debut. But he looks like a beast. But I mean, like his contender series fight was Cam Teague, who's an absolute punching bag. Um, so this is a much tougher matchup, in my opinion. Erosa is a very hard guy to bet because he'll be a favorite and he's meant to win, and then he loses, and then he's a dog and he gets the upset. Like he's so unpredictable. Um, his last fight, he went to a decision with Mel Costa, and Mel Costa's been destroying everyone in the division. And Erosa's got some good wins. Like he beat Charles Jourdain, Nate Landwehr, Sean Woodson, um, some crazy wins. But then you also see he has been knocked out quite a few times. And that's because he fights with his hands down. So yeah, I think Douglas is going to be very live for a KO in this one. But I also think Erosa, he's got sneaky grappling. He was able to get Costa down quite a few times with his wrestling. And he's got a very good choke. You can see he's got a lot of these guillotine chokes on his record and D'Arce chokes. He's got super long arms. So I'm actually going to look at I like to fight not to go the distance, but the line will probably be shit. So I'm going to have a look at Erosa by sub or Douglas by KO for this one. That's how I see it going. See if we can get a better line by playing those method of victories. So yeah, that's what I like for that one. Next one, Price versus Chiesa. I actually don't have odds for this. So yeah, I don't know if I'll bet it because I don't know the odds. But I'll probably go Chiesa. I think Price is more washed. Both guys are pretty washed, but Price has been looking terrible lately. And yeah, Chiesa could probably get him down, submitting. Grasso versus Barber. I see this as a 50-50 fight. Grasso, they fought back in 2021 and Grasso won. But Barber's been on a hot streak. I think she's won 7 in a row. And Grasso's coming off 2 losses. People are kind of saying Grasso's washed now, but I don't think she is. She's only 32. She's coming off 2 losses, but they're the two best girls in the division. And I think this is going to be a really close fight. Could go either way. So I'm just going to take the dog here. I actually think this Karine Silva fight was pretty close. Karine Silva had some success with her wrestling early on, and I don't think the girls that Barber have been facing are on the level of Grasso. So yeah, I see this as a 50-50, and we have a look at the odds. Grasso's a dog, so I'm going to wait on this one, see if we can get some better odds, but I'll probably have a bet on Grasso. Not a big bet, but I think she's live for the upset. Main event, Adesanya versus Pyfer. So Adesanya, he's a great striker. So many weapons, good kicks, great from range, but I think he's past his best days. He's on a three-fight losing streak, and he's going to be the more technical striker in this matchup. If he's going to win, I think it's um, if you like Izzy, I would probably bet him like Izzy over 3.5 rounds and him to land more significant strikes. I think if he's going to win, it's going to be probably by late finish or decision, and it's going to be him outstriking him from long range. And I think he definitely could win that way. And I might even do a hedge bet placing that if I can get good odds doing that. But I'm going to take Pyfer in this one. The reason being, I was having a look at these fights, and I don't like the way that Adesanya's reacting to getting hit now. I think his chin has gone a bit. Even before he got KO'd by Imavov, just in the exchanges, I didn't like how he was looking. And Sean Strickland dropped him, which Sean Strickland's not known for his power. And Duplessis dropped him and finished him. So yeah, he's just kind of getting dropped easier these days. And Pyfer, who he's going up against, has got big power in the hands. And I think Pyfer might knock him out. So even if Pyfer doesn't knock him out, I think Pyfer can at least get some knockdowns, which will secure him some rounds. The issue with Pyfer, why he's an underdog, is he does gas, and it's a 5 round fight. So, like I said, I think if Izzy wins, it'll be him taking over in the later rounds. If Izzy attacks the body, I think that's a good game plan. Use his kicks, and I think he's going to kick the inside leg, drop the leg, like he usually does, and move. The problem is if Izzy doesn't attack the body, he doesn't push a very high pace. So because he doesn't push a high pace, it's not going to force Joe Pyfer to use that much energy. And Pyfer's probably going to be the guy pushing forward as well. So that kind of makes me think that Pyfer might not gas out. And I just think Pyfer is probably going to catch Izzy at some stage. Um, he's got very powerful hands. He's got good speed for a big guy too. So yeah, I'm going to take Pyfer because I see this as a 50-50 fight and he's the dog at 210. I am going to wait. I think more people might bet on Izzy, so I'm going to see if I can get some better odds on Pyfer. But yeah, that's my thoughts on all the fights. Um, Running through my bets. So I'm going a long shot multi with all the picks combined, 0.25 units. I'm going Navajo is my Sterling is my most confident. I've got him in two multis. I've got one where he's the last leg, so it's not very relevant to you, but I've got one with him and the Bulldogs in the NRL, 1.53, and I've got a total of 4 units on Navajo in total. So he's my most confident. I'm going to take Pyfer, probably 1.25 units, and I'll put 0.25 units on Pyfer KO. Yeah. And then I'm going to take Douglas KO or Rosa by sub, potentially. Depends what the odds are. Yusuf Belguri, 2.2 odds. I got 1.25 units on him. And Gabriela Fernandez, 2.1 odds, 1.25 units. So yeah, there are my early thoughts and bets. I got this one out here because I'm actually going on holidays, so I won't be making any more content. But yeah, let me know what you think and drop a comment.